Joining us now is Claes Fornell, professor at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business and head of the ACSI. Professor, welcome to Bloomberg News. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Professor, tell us about the metrics that are used in this.
Well, it's based on a very large survey of actual customers. We talk to some 80,000 people per year, and that raw data goes into a big econometric model where we can actually take out random error and we can say something about cause and effect. And right now, as you said, it's pretty important, I think, to realize that customer satisfaction is quite strong. It's dipping a little, but we're talking about 0.1%. And there are more companies improving than going in the other direction.
Sir, tell us about this sentiment then. What is giving the customers at least this brief optimism?
Well, what's happening is that companies are trying harder. It actually turns out that unemployment does promote higher levels of service up to a point. And I think that's what we are seeing now. And it's important for economic recovery, because if you look at our economy, exports are not going to do it. Government spending will not be enough. Consumer spending has to get up to a level where it used to be, and right now it's weak. Consumer spending depends on two things. Customer satisfaction has to be high and growing, and of course consumers need to have the means to spend, either cash or credit, and that is where the problem is right now.
Interesting finding in your survey, among the four biggest lending financial institutions, I should be clear, Bank of America and JP Morgan, each of which did acquisitions recently, ranked among the weakest in terms of customer satisfaction. And you say it has a lot to do with those acquisitions. Can you give me more detail as to why?
Well, there are big drops for some banks, but not all banks, and there is a public anger towards banks in general. But it's very specific. If you look at Bank of America and JP Morgan, Bank of America and the acquisition of Merrill Lynch were probably more problematic than anticipated and resulted in cost cutting and some reductions in customer service. And we have a similar problem with JP Morgan, where they acquired Washington Mutual, and this seems to be going very, very slow. Now contrast that to Wells Fargo, which acquired Wachovia. And Wachovia used to be a bank with very, very high customer satisfaction. Wells Fargo seems to have learned from that, and the resulting company, combined company, seems to be doing well by the customers.
But as far as JP Morgan and B of A, you think that these banks are big enough, they've been around long enough that they would have been able to preserve this customer satisfaction?
Perhaps, but we are talking about retail now, and both of these banks have major businesses on the investment side, and it seems to me that perhaps they're dropping the ball a little bit on the retail side.
Would it make sense for these banks to incentivize new and existing customers, perhaps easier borrowing standards, better interest rates on CDs, other savings accounts, just for example?
Oh, I think all of those would be necessary. It would also be good, I think, to communicate better with customers and explain to them what types of services are available and what the benefits are.
Professor Claes Fornell, University of Michigan's Ross School of Business, joining us from Ann Arbor. Professor, thank you for your views. We appreciate it.